reference there, that he will be able to solve the problem of herders and farmers clashes, that he empathizes with farmers, whose crops are attacked by cattle grazing and all of that. Well, what magic you can do in 2-3 weeks. The president is just talking about coming up with a comprehensive plan. One would have expected that the problem of farmers herders clashes is not something just coming out. It's foreseeable. It's been on the table. And this should like that comprehensive plan that he now says he will come up, he will produce in the next 2 to 3 weeks. As president, if you already have that plan, we should be talking now about the implementation. However, there was the presentation also by the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, talking about a partnership with Brazil, and also that is providing money to promote the green initiative, partnership with Tata John Dialgo, which is a subsidiary of Tata Equipment, to procure about 10,000 tractors. We hope that the process of procuring and that the Minister of Agriculture is not just giving an audio promise. Of course, Niger State government focusing on agriculture, the Tinubu administration focusing on agriculture. It's a good idea. After all, in this country, we must have agriculture as the mainstay of the economy. If the effort is to return to that and to address the challenge of food insecurity, then of course, the Tinubu administration is as place. And the partnership between Niger State and other states is also being welcomed. But first, we have to worry about securing farmlands.
All right, so congratulations to Niger State. Earlier on, the governor, Mabango, actually said that he shouldn't be referred to as His Excellency and he would like to be referred to as Mabango. And this was in line with his commitment to agriculture or developing agriculture in the state. And this commissioning or launch was part of his promise to ensure because the farmers will not go to their farm, not guaranteed that when they go to their farm. And earlier on this year, the governor had said that, the farms are safe, are eager to go back to their farms now. But it's not just about announcement. It is very good public statements. It's actually in the actions. And that's why perhaps the president then took the launch opportunity to be able to win this war against the farmer head clash or to contain it is because the governors are not cooperating in terms of providing land. Hence, he said, if you can give me land, 2 to 3 weeks, I will solve this problem. I hope the governors will take up this challenge because we want to see a solving of these issues in 2 to 3 weeks' time. I don't think any governor who has seen their people suffer or the lives as estimated by SPD policy as over 60,000 people being killed by the farmer-headed clashes die if they can only give land. This conversation has been ongoing from the Buhari administration, where it's been talked about next. If the governor of each state can provide land for grazing, so that the herders will not go into the farmers' lands where they eat their crops, and then that causes conflict, and then we see all these these mindless killings that happen. I'm hoping that the governors will rise up to this challenge and indeed provide land. Something else that happened in Niger State was the renaming of the airport. So the airport was named President Bola Ahmed Tinubu Airport, and the government, the federal government and the government of Niger State have mentioned that this was done as a result of the immense support they've enjoyed from the president. 15 international airports that remain, including the Minna Airport. The Minna Airport was called the Abubakar Imam Airport, and now, following this rewarding and recognition, it's now being called President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Of course, the number of security, the 9 months is too short. It's very interesting, but congratulations to people in Niger State. I hope they'll be able to maximize the use of this equipment, and also, of course, we'll see an improvement in security situations so that farmers in Kaduna State. Bandits who adopted 16 residents of the Goni-Gora area of the Kaduna metropolis on February 28 have demanded a ransom of 40 trillion naira for their release. John Yusuf, the community leader of the area, said apart from the 40 trillion naira, the bandits are also asking for 11 Hilux vans and 150 brand new motorcycles. The community leader said the bandits invaded the community 2 times without knowing. During the first attack, 3 people were kidnapped, while in the second attack, 13 others were abducted, bringing the total number of people being held captive to 16. He called for the establishment of a military base to check the activities of criminals.
They take a number. So while these people are calling money that even federal government don't have. Can you imagine 40 trillion? They are calling 40 trillion.
I'm sure they don't even know the meaning of 40 trillion.
Our budget is not even up to that. 40 trillion. See 11 billion silver. Then 150. Is it Boko Haram? I don't know the name of that bikes. 140. How do they get this money? People are living hand to mouth now. And you are asking them to bring this huge amount of money. Where do they get this money? In fact, government should come and help. But if not, these people will die in their hand. Please, we are calling on government to please help us come to our aid by providing security. If we have a military base like that side, they will be able to prevent this operation. This battle will not be able to come. If we have this military base in the outskirts of the Medina.
The audacity, the boldness, 40 trillion naira ransom from banks. Fighting on this.
Do you not ask for 40 trillion? They will ask for even 100 trillion when government has shown a large amount of incompetence. Never ascribe to monetary and explain incompetence, and that's how we should.
But beyond that is the fact that I don't have any business speaking about them because these are for jokers who have become terrors to Nigerians. Bandits who are going about and don't have the boldness or audacity to not just kidnap a group of people, but go back to the same area and kidnap again, almost making a total mockery of our security agents and the military base that is set to be in that area. Now, one thing I would say about this is that our challenge or our talk today is to our president and to the leaders, to the governors, because at the end of the day, the reason why this brazen nonsense can happen is because this administration, unfortunately, thus far, has seemed to have tackling these menace with just love. The proper response to this insult should be a head-on, and foreign attack and rescue of these kidnapped victims. What's happened to the children, over 200 of them who are kidnappers, who have been kidnapped? Where are they? What happened to all the ones in Borno State? Where are they? What investigations, what arrests have been done? What rescue efforts have been made? This is over 1 week we're talking about. Why won't they come out and make ridiculous demands like this? It is a mockery on this administration, and I hope that they will respond with force. But other news making the headlines this hour. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission has revoked alleged non-remittance of 151.121 billion naira into Federation accounts. Nigerian political parties and foundation of probe into the allegation made by the chairman Senate Committee on Population at the Navy that 3.7 trillion naira was added in the 2024 budget. On the foreign scene, US President Joe Biden said on Monday he has not scheduled a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Haiti's Prime Minister Ariel Henry has agreed to resign following weeks of mounting pressure and increasing violence in the country. A former Boeing employee known for raising concerns about the firm's production standards has been found dead in the US. And those are the news making headlines at this time. We'll take a short break now. When we return, we'll have Rosa Sodiri to give us updates on global business activities. Stay with us.
Thinking of banking in Africa, think South. Australia's first moving, first trading world. Need a financial partner that understands your unique expectations. A bank with presence in major financial centers across the world. With your lending platform to facilitate seamless whenever, wherever, however. A bank with best-in-class financial solutions through a superb combination of technology and human touch. For easy, fast, and secure banking. that creates real value. Turning dreams into reality is now in your hands. People, technology, service, Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Hello, bro. Man, the rain is so heavy here. Nice hot traffic. I think we should go square. Hi, sir. Where are you?
Start your personalized learning journey with the AI-enabled Learn Africa app. Gain unlimited access to all Learn Africa books, both online and offline. Feel free to test yourself with national exam questions and certificates and join study groups. Full parental control is guaranteed. The Learn Africa mobile app is available on the Play Store and App Store. Learn Africa.
Oh my goodness. Are you seeing Learn Africa there? Learn Africa. Ori advertisement any Learn Africa. When she told me, I'm like, somebody use my name. Learn Skincare Africa.
Welcome back to the morning
Then
show.
African
We are
Online.
Analyze News. Now for global business updates, Rotus Udiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Doctor. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Aya. Good morning to all our viewers. Let's quickly kick off in the United States, where U.S. President Joe Biden has unveiled his budget proposal for fiscal year 2025, which begins in October of this year in the United States. The White House released a fact sheet on the budget. It's pretty long, but if you take a quick look at the highlights, $7.3 trillion. U.S. President Joe Biden also wants to raise corporate taxes back to 28%. In 2017, Trump cut that to 21%. He also wants a minimum tax on high HNIs, high net worth individuals that make over $100 million a year. He's proposing a 25% tax. So he's looking at raising about $4.9 trillion in revenue over the next 10 years. He also wants to trim the deficit by about $3 trillion over the next decade. There's also child tax credits and other credits for low-income Americans, expanding Medicare and Medicaid, and also capping insulin costs for seniors. We move from there to the U.S. inflation. The markets are bracing for the February numbers later on today. They're expecting month-on-month about 0.3 to 0.4%. It will also give some direction to where the Federal Reserve is going at their next meeting. From there, we go to Donald Trump. Donald Trump, we talked about him yesterday, and the whole issue with TikTok. Dr. Abati Pascal was talking about free speech. So here's an example of free speech. Trump was asked about the TikTok ban and the fact that he reversed himself. He ended up waffling, talking about the fact that he left it up to Congress and he could have cut it, he could have banned it if he wanted. And then he ends up calling the media and Facebook an enemy of the people.
I could have banned TikTok. I had it banned just about. I could have gotten it done. But I said, you know what? But I'll leave it up to you. I didn't push them too hard because, let them do their own research and development. And they decided not to do it. But as you know, I was at the point where I could have gotten it done. If I wanted to, I sort of said, you guys decide. You make that decision because it's a tough decision to make. Frankly, there are a lot of people on TikTok that love us. There are a lot of young kids on TikTok who will go crazy without it. There are a lot of users, and there's a lot of good, and there's a lot of bad with TikTok. But the thing I don't like is that without TikTok, you can make Facebook bigger, and I consider Facebook to be an enemy of the people, along with a lot of the media.
So, media is enemy of the people. Now, I think today is a free speech theme. Here is an economist of UniCredit. He's the chief economist who literally said on Bloomberg, God forbid if Donald Trump wins, while he was doing an analysis of geopolitical impact on the global economy.
It's never too soon to talk about bad policies, right? So, yeah, no, absolutely. I think that if Trump, God forbid, wins, you could have a rally in the short term because he's going to plow out tax cuts, depending on whether he controls Congress or not.
More free speech, this time with a gentleman by the name of Marcus Brownlee. He goes by MKBHD. He's a YouTuber. He has over, I think, about 18 million followers on YouTube. Everybody follows him. If you follow Tech, I follow him, everybody follows him. He's got a big following. He reviewed the Ocean electric vehicle from a company called Fisker, and he literally called it the worst car he has ever reviewed. Fisker didn't give him the vehicle because they said they needed to do a software update, so he got the vehicle from a dealership. Here's what he said.
Hey, what's up, guys? I was really struggling on how to start this video just because this might be the single weirdest automotive reviewing experience I've ever had. And I was trying to think if maybe there's a superlative to explain it, like, oh, this is the weirdest car I've ever tried, or this is the quirkiest car that I've used so far, but I think it's just the worst car I've ever tested, but probably not the ways you're expecting. So this car behind me here, this is the Fisker Ocean. You might not have heard of it. Pretty new car, pretty new company, new name anyway. And there were a lot of red flags actually going into this. Just the couple of days I'm spending with it. Got it from a Mitsubishi dealership because Fisker couldn't get one to us, and then they somehow found out that we got one, and they didn't want us to review this one because there's a really big software update, a big 2.0 update coming to this car. And I believe you, Fisker, but that's the thing, is it's not really in my policy to wait on promised future software updates. I'm going to review the car that's out now, that real buyers are actually living with. And then how about this? At the end, I'll tell you what their promised 2.0 software update is supposed to include.
Alright, so he goes on his platform, he says it's the worst car ever. The company finds out which dealership he got it from in New Jersey. They call the dealership, he alerted the dealership they were going to call him. So the dealership recorded the phone call and posted it on social media. Here's the conversation.
Good morning, Judge. How are you, sir?
Good. Who's this?
My name is Roscoe. I work for Fisker.
Oh, okay. How can I help you?
He's still watching it. He thinks.
Okay, so there's supposed to be a second part of that video. Unfortunately, but we didn't get it up there. The second part of the video is the guy from Fisker tells the dealership member that, listen, can I have the information of the guy who did the review? The dealership then tells him, the dealership then tells him, I don't have his information. The guy says, okay, no, forget it. We'll give you the software updates, we'll update your car, he doesn't even own the car, and he specifically said, it's a shame we don't have the clip, I really thought we did. You are our customer, you own the car, we will do the software updates and give you back the vehicle. And that was the end of that. They just completely ignored the reviewer. Amnesty Nigeria put out a tweet not too long ago, I think it was yesterday or late in the evening, calling out the Nigeria Cyber Crimes Act, saying that it is being used to harass Shoma Goyo. Of course, you remember, we actually did a feature on with respect to the Aeroscope Foods matter, where she also went on social media to review it. But as opposed to Marcus Brownlee in the United States, where they just focused on the product, she ended up being arrested. Finally, we round up with the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo. He was in France at an Airbus facility where he was talking about leases, but there's a way in which he went about this that has caused a bit of a stir on social media. Listen to him.
With the factory of the manufacturing giants, aircraft manufacturing giants Airbus in Toulouse, France. You can't see anything bigger than this. Now look at, this is the aircraft for Nigeria. This is the jack of all trades for Nigeria, the A220 family, right? We now want to do it, okay? The A220, but this one is a Nigerian aircraft, what you see all the time in Nigeria. Now look at this. This is the mind-blowing one. This is the 350. Okay? Then to the aircraft, you'll see heaven on earth. For the aircraft. White, come on.
So, I mean, Festus Keyamo put out a tweet, and in the tweet he said he went there to talk about aircraft leases, and how he wants the Airbus to be able to get lower cost aircraft leases for aircraft in Nigeria. There's a foreign exchange dynamic to that, there's a cost dynamic. If you're an airline in Nigeria, people are paying naira for flights, you are paying dollars to lease aircraft. But what caused the stir on social media is that there's people are saying that, in fact, there's a thing on WhatsApp that circulates now saying that new job alerts, Airbus has hired Festus Keyamo to be their spokesperson and tour guide. So it was the optics and the way he was walking around. In fact, if you mute the video, you will be forgiven for thinking that Airbus opened a new factory in Nigeria and Festus Keyamo was giving a tour of it. That's all I'm saying.
In President Buhari's administration, the Minister of Aviation then said they were going to partner with a Hungarian company to make airplanes in Nigeria. I don't know how that partnership works. I would have loved for that to be the case in Nigeria, and the Minister was going through our own factory here where we assemble aircraft. I mean, it's not supposed to be such a big deal. If Brazil could do it in other countries with Embraer and the like, we should be able to do this thing too. Pakistan, for the life of me, makes fighter jets. I think the GF jets, the GF thought that is mainly out of Pakistan. So we should be able to do this thing. So I think that's why people are really hopping out of regards it. But Rose, the sad reality is Trump might be president. I keep saying that thing. But it's the effect it's going to have on the market with this crazy policies that only people will reach alone. And I get the fact that Unicredit economists will say that the market will rally a bit, but the sustainable effect of that will be very damning. And as regards the Erisco man, please, I think a lot of people are not advising him properly, honestly. This has escalated the interest of his brand. He should stop this now. They are not advising that man properly. Please.
Well, for Joe Biden's $7.3 trillion budget, it's saying, I mean, what it looks like, I don't know if Congress will pass it because it moves away largely from what Donald Trump's economic plans are. And of course, Congress is largely controlled by Republicans at the moment. So let's see how we win that battle. His plan for higher tax rates, I'm sure the Democrats will welcome that, but the Republicans will possibly not be going for that, but it shows that he's looking long term in terms of how to cut spend or save some money. He's about $3 trillion expected to be saved. But again, like I mentioned, it is whether or not Congress will accept this budget proposal. Then very quickly, from a business perspective, from the Erisco and then comparing it with the fiscal review, the truth is that as long as you put products out there, be open to users' criticism and feedback. It's not always an attack on your business. And this would have been a big spin on that business, and a lot of people would have had the opportunity to understand and know the brand by the way you spin and actually show empathy to your users, as opposed to being as if you are in a boxing ring with your user. And anyone who dares to speak against your product is an enemy. This is not just a message for Erisco, it's for all brands and businesses in Nigeria. The customer is always right. It's a mantra that we've known for so long. And whatever you will do, you ensure you do it in such a way as to protect the interest of your business, but also look like you actually care about what your customers think and what they say. I think it will really hurt his business. That's what I think.
Okay. Donald Trump saying that Facebook, along with the media and the most evil thing in the world and all of that, well, it's our goods. You'll recall that in 2017, we had said that Facebook was always anti-Trump. And then again, in 2020, he wasn't comfortable with Mark Zuckerberg and his wife, making donations to support local government stations. And then, of course, you recall that, after that January 6th incident and, his abusive, comments on Facebook, he was slammed with a 2-year ban. He was suspended from Facebook and other platforms run by Meta. So this is clearly sad. What I find curious about it is that now it is joining those who are saying, don't shut down TikTok. You recall that it was the president that signed an executive order, at that time, almost banning the TikTok app, from the government operations in the United States. Now, inconsistently, characteristically, he has turned around 360 degrees. He is now defending the interests of TikTok just because he doesn't like Facebook. Well, of course, if he wins the presidency, you expect a lot. He will say he will support Russia, and then of course there will be a lot of isolationism, dictating the American foreign policy process. Now, consumer has rights. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, consumers' rights are not always protected. We saw some hope under Babatunde Rukera when he was in charge of the Consumer Protection Agency. So the question that we face here is the right of the consumer to even speak. And that's what Chioma Okoli's case raises. What did Chioma Okoli do? She wrote a review on Facebook, by the way, and said that a certain tomato paste produced by Erisco was too sugary. That was all she said. And now the matter is in court. And it's generated so much controversy about consumer rights and the right to free speech. However, this morning, a group of NGOs, including Enough is Enough and WADOC and others, are staging a protest. I stand with the Solidarity Walk, they call it. I stand with the Chioma Okoli. They are doing it somewhere from Kadiri Street in Oregon all the way to Ikeja, just to show solidarity with women. But what many find curious has been the role of the police in the matter. The police issued a statement a few days ago, quoting the Cyber Crime Prohibition Act of 2015, and saying that Chioma Okoli had violated certain parts of that particular law. Well, that's a matter to be addressed in court, and you have Inibe Efiong, defending this woman in the matter in court, and they say that this is a case clearly of victimization. Thank you very much, Roses.
Thank you very much, Roses. We'll see you at 11 for Global Business Report. Time for a short break now. When we return, Aaron Akirejola will be here with Global Sports Updates. Stay with us.
Rising cost of things, which is our next move. Guy, I agree with you. I mean, with the money we make, we should not be struggling with our finances now.
Maybe you both need better banking options.
What do you know about better banking options?
I recently moved my salary account to Polaris Bank, and since then, it's been a smooth ride for me. I left on my existing loan and gave me better interest rates and repayment terms.
Are you serious?
Yes, as a Polaris salary account holder, I can get personal term loan, auto loan, mortgage, 50% salary advance, credit card, and more without going to the bank.
Really?
I've got a personal term loan already. See, here's my credit card.
How do I need to do that?
Simple. Open a Polaris salary account on Vault. Use salary account as your referral code.
My guy, I am moving my salary account now.
Get personal term loan and more with your Polaris salary account. Vault is available on Google Play Store and Apple App Store.
The journey to build a sustainable Africa is asking more of the finance sector than ever before. Access Holdings is turning this vision into a reality, thanks to its environmentally conscious financial services. Whether it's reaching climate neutrality or inspiring the next generation of leaders, Access is living by its green credentials to ensure that Africa's future is sustainable and prosperous. Access, where financial solutions connect the world.
It's still the morning show here on the Rise News. Welcome back. For updates on sports stories across the globe, Aaron Akirejola joins us. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning to you. Hi, good morning to Dr. Good morning to you. Let's get it started. So let's get it started with the search for a new coach for the Super Eagles. We know
friendlies are just around the corner, and at the moment, according to my inside sources, they are saying that if the NFF are to probably lean towards local-based coach, these are the men that are top of that particular league. We know Philip George is also around, but these are the men that they are actually looking closely at. Of course, we all know Emmanuel Amunike, Africa Footballer of the Year for Barcelona, won the World Cup with the 17 national team, former coach of the Tanzania national team, took them to their First Nations Cup in decades. And Mike Efunsi, of course, too many people might not know him, but at the moment he holds a job as the under-19 coach of the U.S. men's team. So he claims he is the best man for the job. At the moment, this is the Nigeria Football Federation are trying to wrap their minds around who might fit into their plan, the plan of the Super Eagles going forward, now that Pesero's issue has been swept away completely. Okay, let's see how it goes. But in the meantime, Rufai, the Blues actually had a very, very blue evening yesterday at the bridge. Never finished, of course, and one man, once again, Cole Palmer actually showing that he can. Of course, this man, Isak actually gave them a scare and never finished. This man came from the bench, Mika Modric, to actually settle things, scored what would be the winner. Of course, Adam Sandler, Hollywood royalty was actually there to actually watch them. But the talk has been about Cole Palmer and what he's been doing with the Blues this season. Because when you actually look at the record, this season is going to double figures in terms of goals, not just goals and assists. 11 goals this season, 8 assists. Kudos to him because he actually took his destiny into his own hands and said that he was bigger than just being a big part player for Manchester City, and he switched one blue for the other, and it's been delight all the way for Chelsea, I must say. One of the few shining lights in the many acquisitions they've actually had. Away from that, later on this evening, in the UEFA Champions League, we know that some teams are qualified. We'll talk about them in a moment. For Arsenal, we will need to actually dig it deep today at the Emirates as they take on FC Porto after losing that particular first leg. It was even Stevens between Barcelona and Napoli in Naples, but this time around, let's see what actually happens. And Atletico Madrid will have to come from behind as they take on Inter Milan later on today. Of course, Bayern Munich, Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain, and Real Madrid are qualified for the quarterfinals. Let's see who will be joining them in that particular one. And quickly, let's call attention to the African games as we speak right now. Kudos must go to Okoyori. Of course, I know Okoyori, who has been a shining light. We are hoping that he can go to the Olympics. And he was proud. He won Nigeria's first gold medal at the African Games. He's a dominant figure when it comes to badminton at the moment. Umofia also won 3 gold medals in weightlifting. Kudos to him. And of course, the ladies have been doing us proud as usual. Mercy Genesis, not forgetting Obodo Dudu, and not also. Doing great, of course, picking up medals for Team Nigeria. Right now, and now, yes, I'm not saying that Nigeria has 10 gold medals right now, and which is good, impressive, but it still pales in comparison to the Egyptians who have taken this by storm. And the reason why some people have said that this is what happens when you build a value chain in sports, because the likes of Zamalek, Al-Ahly not only have football teams, popular football teams, they have volleyball teams, they have basketball teams, they have cricket teams, they have swimming teams. And when you bring all that to the fore, what else do you expect? And quickly, away from that also, let's talk about the fact that as it stands right now, there is kind of a huge war, a branding war in the Nigeria Football Federation. We know that the Super Eagles did well. And before now, Premier Lotto used to be their official betting sponsor. And Premier Lotto has issued a statement through Patmosi Sports Group that's managing that. Listen, ambush marketing will not be accepted. Because the truth is this, the reason why this strikes home is that several people before the Nations Cup refused to put their money where their mouth is in terms of supporting the Nigeria Football Federation and the Super Eagles. And the Super Eagles go to the Nations Cup, do so well, and become a bigger brand than a lot of people expect. And right now, some that did not put their money in for branding and sponsorship and I try to read the words of all that has happened, and there's this back and forth between both. The Barbosa has issued the cease and desist to get Nigeria that exclusivity still remains with Premier Lotto, and nothing is changing for now.
Okay. I mean, so I'm excited as regards some of the guests described the meeting as regards to the activity in Accra, but I don't want to do that. I have not still happened yet. By this time, I don't think it's what I'm going to keep president. I think I don't know because you're one way ahead of one.
Egypt has more gold medals, aside from Algeria, Egypt has more gold medals than some the rest of the teams, some of them are together in the middle of West Africa.
But that's why we need to now work on our sports. You see, because let me tell you there, companies like All Africa League, the reflection of the gold medal won, the reflection of investment in sport, and the general way the economy to work. So we must look deeply as regards our sports in the system of this country. We can't keep living in the revenue of the growing of the talent. We must make this support of our question of our and this is that story.
I mean, that's what it's really sad to see how kudos, before I say this, that's why. So almost our one medals for us, and of course our power connectors also really, really well. Big seven moving on to the next one.
But I also think it's only because special kudos of those who president, because I know that I know Pakistan, Italy, wrestling, hockey, badminton. They put in national to ensure this will happen.
I said before I begin to talk about
The president of the federation.
kudos to these people because hopefully in other parts of the other countries you mentioned Egypt or Australia and anywhere in the world, when you talk about success of athletes or sports people, they'll send their governments for the support. You have to provide infrastructure, you have to provide some sort of support, but unfortunately our own sports people do not enjoy that, except for maybe football. And even with football, we are still fighting, thank God this year was different. Allowances, policies made, I hope they've given them the house that we should talk to them about it. Okay.
I'm not sure they are still making just for the houses.
So I remember even going back time, I've spoken about the fact that we don't have just football in Nigeria. We have other sports. Why are we not investing? And then this is also a call to private investors as well. It's happened to swimming, to hotels. At some point, boxing, these sports were big for us in Nigeria. We are losing that, and we see that reflected. Let's not expect a miracle. We always look for a miracle. We have not done any investment in the time in between. We go for games, Olympics, and things like that, and we expect to be top in the medals. How is that going to happen if we don't invest in sports? So I think it's just an opportunity. So let's not do badly. Maybe by the time we do really badly, there will still be need. And I hope this is a call for the Minister of Sports and to do something, not just in football. Football is not a sport that exists in Nigeria.
I have just a very simple question. For the first time since 2014 years, only one part separates the three leading teams at the moment in the Premier League. That Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man City. 10 games to go. 28 games already played. Total, we have 10 games to go. Looks like it's going to go down to the wire. Who do you think is like happening?
A lot of people are thinking that since 2 o'clock might be leaving and exiting the scene, that the players within the Liverpool want to give him a very, very defeated center. He's been there almost 9 years. He's only won one Premier. Manchester City cannot be pushed aside because they are actually gunning for a quadruple, understanding that no team has actually won it consecutively for 4 years. And Manchester City are actually hoping they can do that. They have the experience. But Arsenal are looking good. For the first time, I think they've learned and they've grown in strength. But the Champions League might just be a stumbling block for them. If they lose to that, I think Arsenal will have a chance. So we want to get into the Champions League semi-final and who knows who in the final. That will take something away from that.
Also, it's an analysis based on the remaining games, and the parents, which clearly didn't.
After having the watch running, the doctors from analysis, the doctors,
It's looking like Man City second, Arsenal third. Sorry,
It's very good for Arsenal. All Arsenal fans You're happy with this vote.
Yeah.
I know you are used to life, but you're happy.
You are from the country of hope. So I must yes. Thank you very much. We'll take a short break now. And when we return, we'll be talking to Senators Titus Zam, member representing Benue Northwest Territorial District, Chairman, Senate Committee on Rules and Business, and a member of the Northern Senators Forum. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Emergencies happen when you least expect them to. It gets worse when you are cash-strapped. No need to despair. First Advance has you covered. You can get that urgent cash right now on First Advance. With First Advance, salary earners can get up to 50% of their salary. No hassles. As long as you earn a monthly salary and your salary account has been active for at least 2 months. It doesn't matter if you're on a salary account with First Bank or any other bank. Just dial *894*11# or simply dial *894# on your mobile phone. What's more, when you open the First Bank salary account, you can enroll 0 charges and tax returns. Download the First Bank app and take care of today. Located to First Bank Digital Market. Select First Advance and follow the prompts to receive your loan. Don't let that urgent need get the best of you. Get First Advance now. It's as simple as dialing *894*11#. First Advance. Fast, convenient, secure. You first. First Bank.
Africa sits on the brink of unparalleled transformation. Leading financial institutions are embracing digitalization. Access Bank is at the forefront, redefining banking for the modern age. With digital solutions that transcend borders and bold partnerships that support financial inclusion, this isn't just banking, it's a blueprint for the Africa of tomorrow. Access, more than banking.
Introducing the YouTube buffet plan from MTN that gives you an all-you-can-eat experience. Now you can enjoy over 10 hours of Bollywood movies, web series, and comedy skits on YouTube. Dial *312*800# to activate the YouTube buffet plan from MTN. YouTube is for you.
Welcome back to the morning show here on our live. Senator Senator Forum has resumed Abdulaziz is chairman, a senator representing Bauchi Central, over the allegation that the 2024 budget was passed. At the weekend, he said huge damage has been done to the north and the entire country through the budget. The National Assembly had passed a budget of 28.7 trillion for the 2024 fiscal year. President Bola Tinubu had proposed 27.5 trillion, but the lawmakers jacked it up by 1.2 trillion naira. Meanwhile, 3 senators, Steve Karimi, Titus Zam, and Takashiro at the weekend, said the allegation of budget padding against Senate President Godswill Akpabio by some senators was unfounded, baseless, and a figment of imagination. However, Senator Mendy, who appeared on our late-night program Newsnight on Monday, insisted that it was misquoted, stating that he did not speak on behalf of the Northern Senators Forum as chairman.
As I said, I was released to present it. That means the entire press release for the presidency was not based on the interview they have had. I was very clear in that interview. There was no time I said the presidency for the president was implementing 2 budgets. the Virgin Media, there was no time I said Mother Tinubu was against the law. There was no time I said I was representing the Northern Senators Forum. The introduction of that program, I said, my name is Abdul Nindi, a PDP member representing Bauchi Central. I'm speaking for myself.
Also, in a report put together by a rights correspondent, Omar Bazuari, Senator Nindi said he has his facts and is not afraid of being suspended for speaking the truth.
Trouble brews inside the Nigerian Senate, and it is not connected with the controversy over the alleged pardon of 2024 budget to the tune of 3 trillion naira.
Everything that you have.
And in the middle of the controversy, Senator Abdul Nengi, representing Bauchi Central, briefing journalists on Monday, Nengi sticks to his words and what the 3 trillion naira can be traced in the budget, even as he feels compelled to clarify misinterpretation in some quarters, especially the presidency, about the interview he granted to BBC in Hausa. First, Nengi said he didn't speak on behalf of the Northern Senators Forum, pointing out strongly that he's capable of carrying his own cross.
If it is a cross I have to carry out, I'll carry it. I'm not afraid of anything. Anything. I believe in one God, and I believe power is essential. I believe what we are doing, all of us, is temporary. I'm not scared of whatever is here.
One by one,
I'm
God
not
will
scared
heal us.
of any issue like temptation. I've been out there for 8 years. And people have forced me back. It's not an issue. Some of those are removed by traffic mask. Can you do their lives? If because I say what I will say, if because I say what I say, then I will be suspended. So please, it will be an honor. And for me to be suspended, I will tell everybody for speaking as a parliamentarian. It was a very big one.
The outspoken senator said there was no time in the interview. He said the president was implementing 2 budgets and that he was biased against the North. But he had been saying that the president lacks deep understanding of the Nigerian situation before he took charge. Nengi said, based on his personal findings, 25 trillion naira can be verified and accounted for in the 2024 budget based on projects, monies, and location. However, he insisted that the remaining 3.7 trillion naira in the budget cannot be so verified, damning the possibility of being suspended for his action.
At one time, did I say Bola Tinubu is implementing 25%, 25 trillion budget? The Hausa budget is there. And I also said, in the course of our creating the budget, which ordinary seems to have going on, I said we have established very reasonable doubt about 25 trillion so far as the nexus in the budget. That means there's money, and then there's project, and then there's location. Money, project, location. But we are yet to ascertain 3 trillion of that budget. But we established the 3 trillion in the budget. We have not established its location.
Moments after Senator Jimoh Ibrahim told journalists that Nengi was lying, while being economical rewards to see his face, Ibrahim called on the Senate and the Inspector General of Police to institute court proceedings against Nengi for what he describes as criminal negligence and criminal misinformation.
So the committee should be charged for criminal negligence, misinformation, as well as conduct likelihood of cause, which national peace
peace of Nigeria. So these two charges must stop. Let me tell you, it's not for anybody. If the president of the Senate decides to do nothing, no problem. I will send my letter to the IG. If IG decide to do nothing, I will bring a motion for order, compelling a public officer to perform that job. And these charges will have
All eyes will be on Tuesday's plenary, and the Senate is expected to meet officially on the matter. Tomo Bazwai, Rise News.
Joining us now on the morning show is Senator Titus Zam, member representing Benue Northwest Senatorial District, chairman, Senate Committee on Rules and Business, and a member of the Northern Senators Forum. Good morning, Senator Zam, and thank you for joining us on the morning show. Well, quickly, Senator. Good morning. Well, Senator, can you help us make sense of what Senator Mendy is saying? He says 3.7 trillion, and he insists on that. It's not captured in the budget, and that is his point. He has tried to walk back on backtrack on some of the other points he made. He says he's not speaking on behalf of Northern Senators Forum. So can you help us make sense of how that 3.7 trillion that he says there's money, there's location, there is projects? That's one. Number two, is the Senate going to take up the matter this month? Because I thought I saw something like that. What should we expect on the floor this Senate? Yes.
Well, let me say, my dear brother and colleague in the Senate, Senator Abdulini, has reorganized his thinking processes, and he has decided to beat a fast retreat because he has discovered suddenly that the route he was taking will lead him to nowhere. I want to begin by saying I am a proud member of the Northern Senators Forum, and I was at the meeting where Senator Mendy led us, Northern Senators, to meet the Senate President over this allegation of budget padding. It is surprising now that he has decided to run away from the route he took of speaking for the Northern Senators. But if he has chosen to beat a retreat, he should also be honorable enough to accept that what he says or what he has set out to do is not achievable, and so he wants to be pardoned. We met at the plenary last week Thursday, after which Senator Mendy told us, Northern Senators, we were going to meet with the Senate President, Senator Boswell Akpabio, over certain infractions that he allegedly discovered in the budget. We were up to 27. We came to the Senate President, and Abdulini presented a document purporting to be a report from a consultant that was hired to study the budget and report back to us. And when we were all there, we presented this document that said the document was only an interim report, that a full report will be presented to the Senate President, where it will be established that some fractions occurred in the 2027 budget. And I watched the Senate President's mien. He was calm. But the Akpabio did not present himself like someone who was troubled by the new budget party. He was very calm and collected. When Abdulini finished his presentation, Senator Akpabio said, you said this is only an interim report, that more findings are being done, after which you will present a comprehensive report. So when you are able to present that your comprehensive report, I will also undertake a similar scrutiny of your report in order to establish the veracity or otherwise of your allegations. We will agree in the Thursday meeting with the Senate President that since this document is not yet authenticated, nobody should go to the press over it, because the finding may go one way or the other. It may be mere loose. I and we were all taken aback. On Friday, many online platforms were inundated by reports of alleged 3 trillion naira budget party by Senator Akpabio, reported to have been discovered by Senator Abinili. So, Abinili has come across as someone who is not objective, who is not sincere, and who is not straightforward. And I told you earlier, he presented a report as the chairman of the Northern Senators Forum, which I belong to, and I listened to him. He today, following the backlash from many of our northern compatriots who distance themselves from that charity, he has decided to say he will bear his own cross. I wish him good luck, but I think it is proper to conceptualize the person of Senator Abinili as someone who speaks from two sides of the mouth. Having said that, it is not true that there is anything like budget pardon. The president of this country, through his spokesperson, has already established that he presented 27 trillion naira budget. Nobody has disputed that. And that it is the National Assembly that an additional 1 trillion plus was added to the figure earlier presented. At the end of the day, the nation was presented with a 28 trillion naira budget. And that is the official document we have. I want to put it to Abinili to tell us where he has gotten the so-called 25 trillion naira budget. Because the budget process begins with the executive arm of government. It is the executive arm of government that prepares the document and presents to the National Assembly for scrutiny. The authors, the originators of the budget is the executive branch of government. And in the honors of the document are saying, we presented 27 trillion naira and the National Assembly added 1 trillion naira to it, totaling 28 trillion naira plus. How come that Abinili is talking about 25 trillion naira budget? I think that is up to him to establish. He is insisting on locations that some figures are not attached to. Abinili does not even know that there are certain statutory transfers that don't have locations. Money allocated to INEC, not money will allocated to the judiciary, and so on. You will not find it in North Central, in Kwara, in Benue, or in North East, in Bauchi, or in Ministry A and B. So some of these things require some level of accounting knowledge, some level of understanding of the budgeting process. Abinili himself is a member of the appropriation committee. I am also a member. We sat jointly with the House of Representatives to scrutinize the document brought to us from the executive branch of government. Why is Abinili setting out Senator Akpabio for unification? This document was prepared not by Senator Akpabio, it was presented to us in the Senate, and we had joint session with members of the House of Representatives. So why would Abinili set out, to keep the whole blame, even if there is any infraction whatsoever, as I know there is none, and I want to say on good authority, as a member of the Provision Committee, that there is nothing like budget padding. And so I want to discountenance this issue, and I want to tell the whole world that Abinili is not telling the truth. He is out on the worst form of partisanship and the worst form of political mischief. You asked about what will happen in the plenary today. Well, it all depends on the disposition of the Senate President. But there are issues that have to do with the privileges of the Senate. The Senate is governed by relevant rules encapsulated in our Senate rules as our own guiding norms. So if some senators feel that their privileges are violated and not taken up, good and fine. The Senate President will only rule on the general opinion of members of the Senate in relation to this uncomplimentary disposition of our colleague, the Senator Abinili. So, thank That is what I would say at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Sam. Just for clarity, since you mentioned that you and Senator Abdul-Nick, you were members of the appropriation committee, was there at any time in the process of looking through the budget, did he raise concerns about these allocations without location, or the fact that there were some missing links in the budget? Was there any time he raised this?
No, he never did that. He never did that. That's why I put it to him, because he is a member of the appropriation committee, and I'm also a member of the Northern Senators Forum. When on Tuesday, I mean, he began the politics of allegations of budget pattern, and he brought it to us in the meeting. He said, well, this is fantastic. He will have proof. Bring it forward. He told us that, yeah, the controller has not finished the work.
Okay, so he did bring an
He
allegation.
brought the allegation only in the Northern Senators Forum meeting of Tuesday, not during the budgeting process. Not that time. Not last week. The budget has since been passed and signed into law.
So, again,
He did not raise any
so
issue at that time.
since he didn't raise this, I can now understand when you talk about this being some form of mischief. But I'd like to ask you, there are also some statements he made, when he was speaking to the House of Service, and he said that the budget seemed to be anti-North. The allocations didn't seem to favor that region. Is there any merit? Is this the feelings of the Northern Senators Forum?
Well, I don't think that is true. That's not true, because the budget in Nigeria is not done according to regions. There are sectoral allocations. Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Agri, and all of that. This construction of the North not being favored by the budget is also a figment of the imagination of Abdul-Nick, because Nigeria is not wrong on regional basis. We have a federal system of government that consists of local government, states, and the center. So I don't know how he has come with that contraption of the North not being favored. That is why some of us who are members of the Northern Senators Forum have to distance ourselves from the kind of politics Abdul-Nick has set to play. If you look at the transcribed version of the BBC Hausa service interview, he made a lot of uncomplimentary statements against the ruling party. He began by saying he is PDP, and that the Northern Senators platform that he chairs consists of members of the ruling party. So it will be difficult for him to use that platform, to play opposition politics. You understand? But he ended up saying that is only a valuable medium for him to do what he has set out to do. So I want to say here that the man has just set out to play PDP politics against the ruling party. And he has done it in the most incoherent and disorganized manner.
He said also creating for the let's drill back into the budget. Do you, at the appropriation committee, did you see any imbalance in the budget? So when you check all the line item by line item and juxtapose it, does it balance at 28.7 billion? That's number one. Number two, he says he has a consultant. It does. So it balances till the end, right?
Yes.
So he says he has some consultant.
Yes.
He says he has some consultant.
Sorry, sir.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
As the executive branch of government brought 27 trillion naira budget, and the National Assembly also added 1 trillion naira, making a total of 28.27. And so, item by item, a tally of 25 trillion naira is a figment or is imagination.
Okay. So the budget balance is okay. He said he has some people that are looking into the budget. Does he also have some people that are looking into the budget?
government to actually do. My humble self, Senator Dr. Kaki Uzan, Senator all of us are non senators. We are very quick to dissociate ourselves from this manufacturing. And many other senators do not follow suit in the same rule. This is not what we set out to do. We say, yes, we are convinced to go on 10 years. We need for the
And then I will also take a review of the document so that we will work on the same page.